Welcome.
All right, everyone. This is our MiniPod. It's Native Land Pod. Welcome home, y'all. I'm Angela Rye with Tiffany Cross and Andrew Gillum. And today we are talking about a lot of stuff in this MiniPod.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the one thing I want to talk about, because we got some serious stuff to get to, but in our main podcast,
This was serious.
Angela sent an email that I shouldn't have looked at because I should be focused on you guys, but I just glanced down because it popped up on my computer. Angela was invited to appear on MSNBC. And she responded, and I'm going to read that email for our
Tiff is
viewing
so
audience.
messy.
Hi, blank. I won't say the person's name. Hi, blank. I was devastated by the untimely and unfortunate dismissal of my friend Joy Reid. I will not likely be making any appearance on MSNBC in the foreseeable future. Thank you, Angela Rye.
I said thank you for the offer.
Thank you for the offer, which if you read Black Women Speak is you.
No, it wasn't.
And the
Not to
offer,
her.
Fine.
More like kick rocks barefoot.
Pretty much, whichever. However you want to say it. But why I found this so hilarious is because the temerity of them to even ask. It's like, why would
She
any
been
of
asking.
us? Clearly, because she said, hey, following up on the request here,
I was trying to be nice by not
why wouldn't it
responding.
disappear? Yeah, no. But I just
Sometimes they
think
push you.
that is it's I don't know what to do with myself because I spent my whole career building this, and it is really a dying industry. So I don't even know what to do with myself. But it's like, y'all killed yourself. You know, the ratings have not been what they were since Joy left.
And Joy's killing it. It was such a
Joy is killing it.
dumb decision. I just want to say to Joy that we offer ourselves up to appear on your show, Joy. But
Yes.
I don't think any of us are going on MS. And I just, for me, I could have included Tiff too, but I wanted them to know, I wanted to bring up Joy in this moment because, of course, Joy just happened and we had a full-on boycott that began shortly after, or right when we really learned of her dismissal. And with Tiff, we didn't have that because Joy was still on. And so I think we were I wasn't watching weekends, but I definitely,
we would say don't watch except for Joy Show.
Yeah.
Like tune in to Joy Show.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you ain't got to watch anything. And there are people there who I love dearly. Ayman Moyedin, I think he's amazing. Ali Velshi, amazing. So there are wonderful people over there. But and they have their righteous frustrations too, I'm sure. So I just want those individuals to know we see you, we hear you, we feel you, and thank you for continuing to speak truth to power on the network. And they lost Mehdi too. Mehdi Hassan, who was brilliant.
He'll be on with us soon too.
And Katie Fang.
Katie Fang.
Me and Katie got into it online because I thought she was saying something about Tiff she wasn't saying. It was a whole thing. But shout out to Katie.
I didn't like her tweet either. But I like Katie is such a supporter and so sweet and nice and my sister.
Yes. She cleared it up.
So it was all a misunderstanding.
And I didn't know she was helping Andrew. I don't know where I wasn't at. And I was like, oh, she got
she was my lawyer.
I don't remember that part. But I definitely am grateful to her.
I was mad at everybody. So when I saw Katie, I was like, what? How dare she? I didn't know who to trust.
Yeah.
And, like who was betraying me because so many people were betraying me at the time. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with the audience just so y'all know. So y'all know it's real. And shout out Angela.
Yeah, I'm not
for
going on these shows
solidarity.
if they're not going, I'm just, I like, honestly, I don't even understand the point. I think there are other ways to cut through right now. And I am almost singularly focused on figuring out how to uplift independent voices that can be guided by the strength of their convictions. And I think to that point, right, where we're not seeing these days as much is earnest conversations around the violence that is ensuing against Black bodies all throughout this country, some with the blessing of the Department of Justice, some at the behest and the pushing of ICE, the Immigration Customs Enforcement. We had just on my show on Tuesday, my live show was with Mildred Pierre, who is the wife of Rodney Taylor, who was detained in January and is still in ICE custody because of a crime that he allegedly committed and was pardoned for when he was 16 years old. Not paraplegic, but he has what's it called when you prosthetics? Yes, prosthetic limbs.
Mm-hmm.
They accused him of jumping into a window, stealing a stereo and jumping out of the window. He had a wood foot at the time. And so they pardoned him of this. ICE still detained him and wants to deport him back to Liberia. Some of y'all know the history of Liberia. If you don't, we put links in for you in the podcast on Tuesday, so you can understand how ridiculous this is. Rodney has a hearing August 12th that I will be attending. I'm, of course, inviting my co-host and anybody who wants to join us. We cannot let this stand. Tiff and Andrew and I.
Where is it?
Oh, that's important. It's in Georgia. And we'll make sure we send additional details. There's a GoFundMe. But my point in saying this is the violence on Black bodies is happening at the federal level, the state level, the local level. The Jacksonville sheriff is currently investigating an incident that happened against William McNeil Jr. In Jacksonville, Florida in February. And some of us are just learning about it. I want to give y'all a trigger warning to my co-hosts, to those who are watching at home, and even the listeners. This is not easy to hear or see, but we need to be aware. Let's roll the clip.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights. And it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement?
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
77, 35. I'm proper driver. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle. 25 for 9-4. The driver just slammed the door and locked it.
Call your supervisor. All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands.
Here.
33 at 16:21 hours.
I'm here. What's your reason, sir? What is your reason? Step out now. All right. Get on the ground. No. Don't touch it. Get on the ground.
Put your hands behind your back. I'm resisting. Hands behind your back.
Ooh, so there is another angle of this video.
There is, where you can see him.
Yeah, and I almost want to. I know that was traumatizing enough, but I almost want to play that too. Maybe we can.
Please.
Okay. I was gonna say we can insert it in post, but I want to.
I think that angle is really important.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andrew. It's a completely different experience. I wanted the full video, but now I understand why it was on Fox 11, because they wanted to make sure that we heard about the marijuana, as if that justifies them busting him in his mouth and busting through the window. So we were just noting that the video that we saw is I think that's the body cam footage. We're going to show a different angle, which we believe is William McNeil Jr.'s own recording of what happened. And we'll roll that now.
After refusing to get out of his car, William McNeil Jr. took this open-handed blow from JSO officer Donald Bowers during a February traffic stop. Just days following the release of the footage shot on McNeil's phone, Sheriff T.K. Waters announced Bowers had been stripped of his policing authority pending the results of an ongoing internal investigation. He suggested if McNeil had filed an official complaint, the agency would have looked into the arrest earlier.
We'd have been all over it, had that been the case. But he did not.
Official JSO records, including the arrest report, the incident report, and the response to resistance report, make no mention of Officer Bowers' initial hit to McNeil's face. Police body cam also fails to capture the blow.
Ooh. So there's...
And he does it
twice.
That's
what I was going to say. There's another angle still when he gets snatched out the car where they bust his head up against... I think it's up against the car, Andrew. But it's just... It is infuriating. It is...
So
there were two black officers
52
there.
In the afternoon. At 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, it's still light, by the way, right now, in where I am in Florida, right? Jacksonville's just down the street.
That's where this, did we say that's where this took place?
Before 5 p.m. in February, the sky, because we see the video, is clear. You can, it may not be clear. It could be cloudy. I have no idea. But I don't see rain falling. Right. It's not on the lens of the camera, and it doesn't appear on the gentleman's vehicle either. Right. So What they actually did here, y'all, is something called a pretextual stop. By the way, this is something the Department of Justice has dissuaded police departments from doing. And what that means is you take a minor infraction as an opportunity to pull someone over whom you believe is involved in more serious criminal activity, and you use this pretext, this light's not on, or fail to use a signal when changing lanes, or whatever other minor infraction they could come up with, so that they can get into the vehicle and hopefully discover what are deeper crimes. The reason why the DOJ dissuades people from using pretextual stops and have written consent decrees with police departments all across the country to end this kind of practice is because generally it targets Black people and Black communities. So if you were doing pretextual stops all over the city, it was happening in white areas as well as in Black areas, it would be one thing. It'd be indiscriminate. Except almost always these pretext stops are used extremely excessively in Black communities and Black neighborhoods, Black sides of towns, and on poor sides of towns as a way to get these people caught up in a much more serious infraction. They don't even pull people for weed right now in this state, pretty much, unless they consider you are a dealer. And this man's got smokable weed, and that's what you're going to say now is the reason that justifies you coming across his face like that twice unprovoked? It's insane. Again, not shocked, not surprised. I'm glad that the brother lived to tell the story another day, because I could have easily seen this situation going completely differently. And were it not for his own recording, many viewers, listeners would not have been able to see the devastation that this officer causes unprovoked by escalating the situation and not de-escalating it.
You know, it's hard to watch, but it is a regular occurrence. Yeah. And I remember when the debate around body cams were coming out, and it was this big victory, like, okay, now all police officers will wear body cams, and it hasn't really stopped or changed anything. All we have now is a better view of officers assaulting and killing us. I don't know what to do. I think it's important to look at in 2020, when there was this so-called racial reckoning, I think we all kind of knew that this was just a brief marketing ploy for corporations. And it hasn't really changed much. It hasn't really had an impact. And it's why I say, like, you cannot serve the corporate structure and community, because they run contrary to each other. When all these companies were giving money, and again, this was like a blood sacrifice, like we had to watch a man be murdered on TV for them to even do anything. And so when the country's 50 biggest countries, publicly traded companies were given all this money, JP Morgan Chase, Google gave money. It was like millions of dollars pouring in, and it wasn't real structural change. Like how much money
easiest thing they could have ever done.
Precisely.
Easiest.
But even the money they gave, more than 90% of that money was allocated to potentially profitable initiatives, stuff like loans and investments and mortgages. The reporting found that, and I think it was the Washington Post who dug into this, the reporting found that I think only 70 million went to organizations that were devoted to criminal justice and racial justice. And in the years, I don't know the most current stats, but in the years since, so between 2017 and 2024, 4 years after George Floyd's murder, 248 Black men have been shot to death by the police. So like these policies, it was just a reflexive reaction to the murder of somebody, not a true racial reckoning that we want to call it. Sorry, if you're watching this and my camera is shaky, it is because I'm trying to still play with my charger. My computer's going to die at any minute. So apologies for making the video shake, and apologies to the folks who have to deal with this in post-production and the viewers who might get vertigo watching it. But it is, Andrew, the reason why we're talking about this is because you brought up you have 3 children, 2 Black boys who you're raising. And the fear it must strike in you every time. And I experienced this on the vineyard in the summer, and you see the little Black teenagers walking around like they hard, okay? And they on the vineyard, but they walking around with the pants and the hair and, like, what up, dog?
It's expression.
It's expression. It's fine. I love to see it. I'm like, yes, Black boys, be free and be joyful. You deserve that. But I look at them and I'm like, y'all are 15, 16, 17. Some of y'all I'd have known since you were 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I see you as these babies, right? These babies who have grown up. And I think you walk off this island and the world sees you as a threat. They see you as violent. Just like this boy in his car, this young man in his car was immediately perceived a threat. Do you think a white boy in khakis would have been met with that same thing? And the fact that he had marijuana on him is irrelevant. Recreational marijuana does happen to be illegal in Florida. Florida needs to get with the times, because I know all those crazy MAGA folks down there are definitely blazing and snorting and doing all kinds of things. But you can have marijuana on you if you have a medical card in Florida. They didn't even ask him, do you have a medical card for this? So I'm disgusted by it. And a part of me, again, because I'm reading Asada, a part of me feels like, he wasn't resisting. People say, well, why are they trying to get up? It's like, because that shit hurts. You're being slammed to the ground. You're trying to protect yourself. You're trying to just be treated like a human being. But I do feel like if we are to die, then I want to die fighting. Like at some point, I want them to be scared of us. At some point, I want you to be scared about putting your hands on Black bodies. Because I've seen white folks get away with that. And I know, I want y'all to push back and tell me, that ain't the thing.
Yeah,
because we will get killed. I know we will get killed. But I just, with George Floyd, I'm like, in that moment, I want them to be scared. I want them to feel like we surrounded by a bunch of Black folks. And I'm kneeling on this man's neck. We got guns. But if they descend, I don't know. Just how do we tap into that Montgomery?
They murdered with impunity.
That's my point.
Because they have a license to kill.
But I think.
Well, go ahead, Angela. Legally, I'm sure I'm saying something bad.
No, I think I understand what you're saying. I think that we're tired of dying, and it feels especially frustrating when your resistance is treated as the most criminal thing and not the initial reason why you were stopped or questioned or handcuffed or busted in the face because I don't understand why you're pulling me over. You're telling me to put my seatbelt on. How do you know I didn't take the seatbelt off once you pulled me over to get my license out? You don't really know what's going on. And I think that, let's say that he didn't have his seatbelt on. And let's say that he needed to put his lights on because there was inclement weather that only this officer could see. What purpose does it serve you to bust the window and to punch this man in the face? And then I think for me, the worst offense is these Black men who are present for the stop, present for the attack, because that's what it was, present for the arrest, who are no different than the officers on the screen or the officer on the screen in Boys in the Hood. You are just a part of what is wrong with structural racism and systemic issues with police and law enforcement for our folks. So I'm sending William all the love, William McNeil Jr. And I just want to say, brother, I understand why you didn't file a complaint, because it's what difference does it make? So now they mad at you because you didn't file a complaint. Now they're mad at you because you traumatized off of what happened. There are so many young Black men who don't have video, who don't have, the benefit of the doubt on their side because maybe they committed a crime, because maybe they look to be inherently violent and criminal, whatever it is. You don't deserve that. And you do deserve our advocacy. And so we'll shed a light on this, even if it upsets our stomach, makes us nauseous, knowing your reality. We can't imagine what you're going through just trying to make it through. But no, You have family in us, and we are going to fight alongside you. And like I said, this might be the time Andrew brings his bullhorn back out.
I just think we need to update what we're telling our children, our young people, when they encounter law enforcement. I remember taking my kids to the park, which I did every Sunday when they were little, and we would play outside, get the energy out so they go to bed. And I remember, these white women in the park, bending down at my children and saying how cute they were and, oh, how polite and, oh, how this. And I remember having this just thought flush to my mind, like, when do they become your enemies?
Yes.
When do they become the dangers that you fear? They're so cute now and so, precocious and all these things. And I'm thinking, when do you decide that they're now the threat? Because it really is your decision. I mean, it isn't what I determine. My interaction with them is not the status quo, because I see babies, I see boys, I see kids who are being kids, who are making kid-like decisions about themselves in that moment in time. I see bright futures, incredible contributors to the future of humanity. And I'm being humble with that. That's what I see. But unfortunately, your eyes have scales on them, and it can't quite reveal the truth of the matter. And so when you decide my kids are to be feared is when I'm on hypersteroids trying to protect them, left, right, center. You mentioned I don't know my neighbors. I gotta know my neighbors. And I take my kids with me when I introduce myself to folks who are moving into the neighborhood, because I don't want them to mistake who they are when they see them walking down the street at dusk, or walking back through the neighborhood after school when they've been dropped off by a bus. Right? So we don't have the luxury of just leaving it to chance. And our kids don't have the right to be children. They must now assess every situation from its most murky point, from its most sinister perspective, because you lack the curiosity and the muscle memory to see a human as a human being, regardless of the color, melanated or not, skin they have. It's ridiculous, but I don't expect more. So we do have to do what we can to protect our children wherever we can.
Yeah. And that's a great place for us to end. Also, for those of you watching, yes, Tiff's battery finally did die, but she hung in there.
Gave out
and
on
the thing
us.
that we know,
she put up a fight, Lord.
The thing that we know is the marathon continues. We will continue the fight, and you can continue to tune in. This is still y'all's home. Welcome home, y'all.
Welcome home. Welcome home.
Native Land Pod is a production of iHeart Radio in partnership with Reason Choice Media. For more podcasts from iHeart Radio, visit the iHeart Radio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.